Ellie would like to welcome you to Sketching with Gretchen. Are you ready to draw, Ellie? Let's go. Hi guys, we're gonna do some op art today. If you're in grades 4th grade and higher, this is a great project. If you're a parent, this is a great project for you to try as well. What is op art? Well, when something plays tricks on your eyes, it's called an optical illusion. So op art is artwork that plays tricks on our eyes. If you look up images by M.C. Escher, you'll see all kinds of op art. And he's famous for his images that show stairways that literally go nowhere. This project's going to need you to have a sketchbook or a piece of paper, a pencil. If you have a Sharpie comes in handy. Not necessary though, you can do this without a Sharpie. A ruler and some kind of coloring tool, so colored pencils, crayons, or markers. I'm going to use my colored pencils today. All right, so you're going to start off by tracing your hand. Now there is a right or wrong way to trace your hand. When you trace your hand, I recommend using a pencil because it's less messy and you won't get Sharpie on the sides of your fingers. Students are aware that there is a correct way to trace your hand as well. So you want to keep your pencil or your writing tool straight up and down, not at an angle. If you go in at an angle, you're going to end up with what I call alien fingers, and nobody likes that. So trace your hand right along the side. Stay along the side. Keep your fingers spread apart. Just gonna go around my ring there. And you can see that my pencil is perpendicular to my paper. How's that for incorporating math into art? Look that one up, perpendicular. So my pencil is straight up and down through the whole tracing. All right, now you can't see that very well, but this is where I'm going to use my Sharpie and go over my pencil lines so that you can see it better. Now, if you are using this method as well, remember when you use your Sharpie not to pause midway when you're drawing, just because you will cause the Sharpie to bleed into your paper and you'll have this really unsightly blotch. If you need to stop and pause, pick your Sharpie up. Okay, so there's my hand. Now we're going to use our ruler and we're going to draw lines all the way from the top to the bottom, but we're not going to draw lines on the hand. So we're just drawing horizontal lines, and use your ruler, and you want to keep these lines evenly spaced. And I would recommend them being about maybe a quarter of an inch to a half inch apart. Now, no need to be measuring unless you know you're not great with lining up your ruler. If you could just get your ruler lined up straight with the line above it, you should be fine. But if you're more comfortable making marks down your paper to help you put those lines down, that's okay. You do whatever you need to do. Also, if you don't have a ruler, you can use any kind of straight edge, so a thicker piece of paper, the edge of a book, as long as you don't mind getting Sharpie on it. All right, so here's where my hand is starting, and you can see that I skipped going over that tip of my finger there. So you're gonna do that all the way down. This is probably gonna be a little time consuming, but again, you have nothing but time. Where do you have to go? Nowhere. Okay, just keep skipping over your hand. Do not trace lines. Do not draw lines over your hand yet. Keep them as straight as you can. This project will be most successful if you can keep those lines straight and even. If they're not perfect, no worries, not a big deal. Whoops, I missed that one. There we go. Now, if you're one of my students, please remember that I would love it if you can go to the Artsonia website. Go to artsonia.com. Actually, SchoolSpeak has a link for you, and you can take pictures with your phone of your artwork and upload them directly to the Artsonia website. So I will have questions for you to answer about your artwork, and you can answer them right after you upload your image. Would love to hear from you, would love to see your artwork. I miss you guys terribly. It's not the same. Not the same. Oh, by the way, we're changing seats this week. That's seems to be a popular question I get. And yes, we're going to change seats so you can sit wherever you want. How's that? Doesn't happen very often in our class, does it? Okay, almost done. You can see I might be slightly off with my lines, but it's okay. If it's not perfect, don't worry. The more you do art, the better you get. It's just like any other thing that you have to get better at. You have to practice. Okay, so there's my lines. Now, from here, I'm going to go in and draw some lines in my hand, but these lines are not going to be straight. These lines are going to have a curve to them. So where the straight line intersects, stops at on the finger, you're going to connect those with a curved line, and these curved lines all have to go in the same direction. So you have to decide if your lines are going to curve up or curve down. So I'm going to curve mine up, just like that. So now if you go down this finger and connect all these lines, they need to be that same curve. So watch this. Make sure you're connecting this line to this line. All right, that's key. All right, you can see how I did that. Now I'm going to go down and do all my fingers, and then I'll show you how to get to some of these difficult areas. So remember, line to line, you're going to connect this line to that line. It's all the same line going across. It's just this one and the hand is curved. Do this one here. Curved line. Now, some of my classes may have done this before. I can't remember. I give this project out every year. Although I don't think I have yet this year. I just can't recall if my 7th graders have done this. I usually give it to my 7th graders. And I don't think I have, but could be wrong. All right, so let me do my thumb. Again, if you miss a line like I did here, no worries, just move on. You want to make sure you get to those. That one I did the same thing. No big deal, just carry on. It helps to kind of see, like I can't see past my marker, that line. All right, so now we're going to go back and connect these lines that are a little more difficult. So this one goes all the way across to this, but we're going to have a hump here and a hump here, a curve. Curve here and a curve here, okay? And then now when you get here, we want to connect this line with this line. So this is going to be one curved line like that. And again here, up and down. So the curve over the top of your hand is going to be a lot larger. So you just kind of have to get in a position where you can see where you're starting and where you're ending, and make that gentle curved line. It can get a little tricky at this point. Okay, curve. Gentle curves. if it helps, you could go from this side to this side. If you're left-handed, it might be a little bit tricky this way. Just work out your kinks. Do it in pencil first and then go over it with another drawing tool. All right, we get to the end here. I'm going to stop right there. So from here, we're going to color. And what I recommend is come up with a color scheme, come up with a pattern. You could do all warm colors. You could do warm colors on your hand, cool colors on the background. So when I say warm colors, your warm colors are your reds, your oranges, your yellows. Your cool colors, now those are all the colors that remind me of, say, like summer, sunset, and such. Cool colors, those are colors such as green, blue, and purples. All right, your browns and tans are neutrals. So I'm going to go with a warm color, cool color scheme. I'm going to do my hand in warm colors, and I'm going to do my background in cool colors. Did I say that right? I'm going to do my hand in warm colors, my background in cool colors. So I'm going to start off with my red. Now when you color this, when you color, actually I'm going to start off with my background, I'm sorry. I'll start with a blue. When you color your background, you're just going to do, color it solid. This project is going to take a little bit of time. All right, so from here, I'm gonna finish coloring this background. And I'm really hoping I can figure out how to speed this up. So we're gonna fast forward through the coloring part, and then I'll catch up with you when I finish with that to do the hand. So I will see you in a few after I finish coloring in the background. Okay, now that we have our lines all colored in, and I'll review here because I may have misspoken before, but you're gonna want to color in your lines, different colors. You can create a different pattern going all the way across. I think I had mentioned to switch colors on your hand, but I encourage you not to do that. Just continue with the same color going across that same line, all right? So once you have all your lines colored in, this is where the magic happens. So what you're gonna do is on your hand, you are going to add some value to the colors that you've already laid down. And what I mean by that is you're gonna color so that the edges are darker than the middle of your lines that you have. So let me start off with one that's gonna make sense that you'll be able to see right away. So for instance, with this purplish line here, where the hand, where the color is inside the finger, you're gonna press a little bit harder right at the edge where the line meets. And then ideally, you kind of wanna blend that upwards so that you don't create a hard line. And you wanna do the same thing to the other side. You're doing each side, all right? Not the top or the bottom, just the sides of the fingers. Create a little bit darker value, okay? So you're gonna have a lighter value at the top of the finger, darker values on the edges. And then to accomplish that, you're just gonna kind of blend it so it's fairly seamless. We don't want straight up and down colors like this. You don't wanna color that way because you can see that hard line there. You want to smooth that out, color over that. You don't wanna form that straight line. It won't give you the same effect. So you can continue with the same color and go down your hand that way, or you can switch colors up, but you're just gonna continue with your coloring this way on your hand, darkening the edges, just at the edges, blending. This is what's gonna create an optical illusion. Do that on the sides of your hands as well. And you can move a little further over with your value here. Okay. Press harder to make it darker. Now, if you color hard anyways, and your colors are fairly dark to start with, then you may just want to use a darker color to go over top the color you colored with. So what this is going to do is it's going to give your hand some shape. It's going to make it look more 3D. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to color the whole hand that way, and then you'll see what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, now I have my whole hand colored as well. I've added my value along the edges, as you can see. Kind of makes the hand pop a little bit, makes it look like it's actually coming up out of the paper. Optical illusion. Now, to really add to this, what you can do is add a shadow underneath the hand. Now, how do you do that? Well, you're just going to color a darker color, such as a black, lightly, or even a gray, around the edges of the hand. So I'm going to go in and do that, and then I will show you the results of that. So to do that, just lightly. Now, you don't want to make this too dark, and you don't want to like make it black. You just want to add that shading, the shadow just around the edge, so it gives it again the illusion of your hand on top of the paper. So I'm going to go around and do that, and then we'll come back. Okay, now I've added my shadow. You can see that it's even given it more of an optical illusion. You can actually see on my own hand, you can see how my shadow shows. So same idea. We've colored a shadow. Now notice I've only done one side of the fingers. It just gives it more of a realistic look if you just color, because if you look at just shadow underneath your hand, or a shadow outside, you'll notice that it's only going to be cast in one direction. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're successful, and also keep in mind that this is a project that you can start and then you can walk away from it and you can come back to it. You don't have to do this in one sitting. Do art because it's enjoyable to you. Don't just do art because you have to. You want to make it fun. So this could be, treat it like a puzzle. Sit down, color a little bit, set it aside, and come back to it later. All right, we'll see you soon.